you guys, Mel Tucker, he is absolutely showing what he is made of at Michigan State. Now, other places are becoming interested in him, rightfully so. So I want to know, should he consider LSU? And then, of course, LSU is also looking into other people. Joe Brady, James Franklin have also been mentioned. Your thoughts on all of that, Jeff?
Well, Mel Tucker, if we look at the history of him and where he's worked, he's had what? He was a graduate assistant at Michigan State. He went to Miami. After that, a year later, went to LSU. I mean, he's bounced around, but he's never had a head coaching role until Colorado, which he was there in 2019. He left 1 year after for a better opportunity, for go to Michigan State. And a lot of people criticized him, for leaving so prematurely. But I didn't hate him for that decision. I don't listen. If you have a better opportunity anywhere, I mean, Mel Tucker's one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football, and now you have a team where in your second year is undefeated. I mean, it's remarkable what he's been able to do. But if we're talking about LSU, he's already familiar with the SEC. I mean, he's been a coach there, not a head coach, but he's been assistant coaches. He's been at Alabama. I mean, he's been around, so it's not like he's not familiar. It's more so chasing better opportunities. Is LSU that much bigger of a college football brand that he feels that if he turns that around, it's going to elevate his legacy? I think Mel Tucker's been doing a great job, and he even answered on. He didn't answer it directly at the press conference. I know a lot of people wanted him to have a Mike Tomlin response, never say never, but never. But it's honestly it's just a business decision. Like, it's Mel Tucker. How much is LSU going to pay him? How much are they offering him? There's a lot of things that come into the table. So I'm not surprised he kind of tiptoed around the bushes. It's kind of expected for any coach. I mean, unless you're in the NFL, you understand, listen, I'm not going to college football. But if you're in college football, everything's on the table. I mean, that's just how it works. But I think Mel Tucker, he's done such a fantastic job so far with Michigan State. It'd be kind of, he just got all of his transfers. He's kind of building his culture in East Lansing. And now to leave and go to LSU, it's not going to hurt his reputation for as many, programs as he's been a part of in his, 20 years of coaching football. But I will say this: I won't hate him if the opportunity's better. If he's there to make more money. If there's, you can't argue with a man for doing what's best for him. But I will say this: I don't think he leaves MSU. I don't. Not now, at least. Maybe in a couple years, whatever the case may be. But they're 7-0. I think there's more to build off of, and he's got his guys finally there. So I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, Adam, I'm holding tight. I'm a hold down, keep chopping the wood, like he says. I don't think he'll leave.
I mean, look, he's not leaving this year, that's for sure. I don't think he's accepting it at the end of the year. But let's be honest, LSU, that's a job that's a top 6 job in the country. You're recruiting ballers at LSU. All right? And if the program tells you anything, they've won 3 natties with 3 different head coaches since 2003. LSU's the program. Now, if I'm Mel Tucker, I'm staying in Michigan State. I'm staying at least another year and a half, 2 years. And let's be honest, the turnaround in college football for head coaches in these type of jobs is very quick. Ed Orgeron, 2 years ago, was an undefeated national champion. Less than 2 years later, he's out of the job. If someone else takes the LSU job and they're not great, he's leaving. His time will play out in a year and a half, 2 years, and by then, if Tucker has won a Big Ten, has he accomplished what he wanted to, he's going to go take that job. But it's very hard to say no to those jobs, especially when you're a college coach. And no, it's not about state paying him. It's not about money talks. No, Mel Tucker's like the 6th or 7th highest paid coach in college football right now.
Yeah.
You're talking a premier SEC job. Mel Tucker has SEC roots. The job, it's an enticing job. I don't think he takes it. I don't think he takes it this year or next year. I think he takes it probably by year 4 or 5. I do think. I think that's a job that will be available in another year and a half, 2 years. And I think LSU is willing to wait for a guy like Tucker, especially if he comes out this year and wins 9, 10, 11 games, goes next year, maybe even wins the Big Ten. Who knows? Who knows? But I think he stays. I think Mel Tucker stays. I don't think he's leaving. And when you're a head coach, you got to be very careful about making decisions like this. Because let's say he leaves the Michigan State project. Well, he's shown that he's not willing to commit to a mid-level project or above average project. And he's willing to walk away at anything shiny he sees, which is what LSU is. It's shiny. So if he walks away, and it doesn't work out in LSU, well, the next job he gets, they're going to question, like, yo, what if you just turn our program around in a year and a half, 2 years, and then you leave? Like,
Yep.
we're looking for a long-term commitment. So I don't think he's leaving Michigan State anytime soon. I don't.
Yeah, we're on the same page here, and there's a lot of things. And LSU is a dream job. Like, let's get that straight. Any coach in college football that, even in the Big Ten, wherever you are, if you get offered that job, it's an honor, number one, especially if you've, like Mel Tucker, for example, who's never had that caliber of a job before. It's probably, very, very, hard to really think about it. And that's why I'm not surprised he didn't answer it I'm not doing it. This is that. Like, he just, listen, I'm focused on this, our opponent this week, visiting East Lansing. Like, there's other things he's focused on, but I think the overall message is, listen, I said it, amongst the top 8 to 10 highest paid coaches in college football. I don't think it's necessarily money, but it would be because of the brand. It would have to be. I mean, if he wants to go to LSU, but it would hurt his reputation. I mean, you left Colorado, you were leaving Michigan State after you're undefeated. What makes you think they think you're going to stay at LSU if you're undefeated, or regardless, wherever you are? So it is tough. It's a tough reputation, but overall, I think he's right where he needs to be, for now at least. In a couple of years, there's always things that can change. But right now, I think he's in the right spot.
Guys, you're missing the ball here. The LSU job is a top job in the country. It's not just because of the money. The players you can recruit at LSU are 10x the players you can recruit in the Big Ten. That's not even a question. Mel Tucker is taking a big risk if he takes the job. Why? Look at Lane Kiffin, actually. I'm glad you brought up Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's at Ole Miss. He's doing just fine. But you don't want to be the guy that's bouncing around job to job to job to job. You want to build a program. And if Mel Tucker does it in East Lansing, I think an LSU, a USC, a Miami would be more patient with him if he were to take those jobs. And that's really where we're getting at right now. I don't see how Mel Tucker walks up and leaves year 2 into it. I just don't think. I don't think so. I really don't. Mel Tucker's not leaving this year. And if he does, it's next year, towards the end of the season where things aren't looking that great. But, guys, the LSU job is a top 5 job. It's not even a question. And if you don't think it is, I mean, I can't help you. I mean, the recruiting advantage you have down in Baton Rouge is unbelievable. It's wide receiver university. No joke. He can go there and build a better roster than what he has right now in less than 3-4 months. Easily. The transfers he can get. Not even, forget the recruiting class.
Like Joe Burrow was a transfer.
You saw what he did with transfers at Michigan State. Imagine what he can do at LSU.